Hey guys, Bella here. I'm going to be talking about some of the common mistakes or really logical fallacies that people have when they're taking a GLP-1 medication like compounded semaglutide, Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, all of those under that blanket. So I've noticed a lot of people say things that are completely either untrue, not scientifically backed, and it's one thing to do it for yourself and say it works, but another thing to make a claim, and there's a lot of bad advice. So I noticed that one of the things that people worry about with this medication is whether they're going to make a mistake in the dosing, the frequency, the amount of their dose, all kinds of uncertainties that lie within starting this journey. As someone who has been on this medicine, compounded semaglutide, for almost 3 years, I do feel like I have some insight to offer in terms of the things that I wish I would have did differently, but also the things that I feel like I did right and I see other people doing incorrectly. This is not to point fingers. This is just to say that, look, there's a lot of ways that you can look at things, but you need to be looking at things with like a long-term perspective if you want to be successful with your weight loss. Okay, so the first thing, and probably one of the most common, is that people are skipping meals because they're not hungry. And I get it, you do not have to eat like clockwork, like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, but skipping like from breakfast, you eat around 7 or 8, you go to work, you work all day, you just don't ever get hungry, and so you get home and it's like 5 o'clock and you're like, I'm just gonna eat like a little small thing, and you eat 300 or 400 calories, and you will be completely, like, in essence, like starving yourself. So I know it's tempting to not eat, especially when you've had a lifetime of being like intrigued by food, but skipping meals I feel like is a mistake in the long run because it's going to train you to have like erratic eating patterns, and almost like to the point of where you're like celebrating not eating. And so I feel like that goes into just kind of territory that is a little bit dangerous and a little bit dicey. So I think that if you can keep a pretty consistent schedule of eating, it will make sure that your blood sugar levels are good, and it will also make sure that you don't get nauseous, because some of the times where I've been the most nauseous were when I didn't eat. So just keep that in mind. Nausea can also come from not eating. Another mistake that you might not think about is not refilling your medication in time. So if you have a telehealth provider like me, you have to get on there and basically request new medication every couple of weeks, pretty much every 3 weeks, or you will run out of medication. So what I recommend is basically to put it on your calendar the day of your appointment for your next appointment, and leave yourself like a 3 or 4 day buffer window just in case something happens, or the mail gets delayed. There's a lot of reasons why you could be behind on your dosing and your shots, and I think it's good to stay consistent. I'm not like a stickler for saying if you take it on Sunday, you have to take it every Sunday at 8 o'clock. Like, that's just not realistic for most people. But I think it makes sense to say, I'm going to try to be as consistent as possible, which means being consistent with my refills. So if you're using a telehealth platform like Fridays, which is where I get my medication, basically you go on there, request your meds every 3 weeks, and they just send it to you. Like, they send you an email to say, like, we've put in your request. If you want to see a doctor, you can, but you don't have to. I've been using this company for almost a year now, and they're extremely reliable and consistent and very transparent with what is going on with the FDA. But as of right now, we are still able to get compounded semaglutide in May of 2025. So if you're interested in starting that, you can use code BELLA and get $50 off your first month, which would make it $199 for everything shipped to your door, your appointment, your meds, your labs, everything. So if you have questions about that, you can check my other videos. But let's go into your habits. So fiber, not the most exciting thing to talk about, but it is worth noting that you want to make sure that you're getting plenty of fiber, and probably getting some supplements in terms of just helping your digestive system continue moving. This medication slows everything down. If you used to eat something and be full for the rest of the day, that kind of thing that you eat now is going to stay in your stomach for a long time, especially like meat and protein, because it takes longer to break down. Protein is good, but just keep in mind that it's going to be one of those things that you feel full for quite a bit longer. So make sure that when you're eating, you're making like smart choices, because you're going to have to live with them. So with the fiber, I eat prunes. I mean, it's not that cool. It's not that exciting. Prunes, dates, fruit with the peel. If you eat an apple, eat the apple peel. Don't do that with a banana, but you know what I mean. Just make sure that you're eating plenty of fiber. You eat like leafy greens, and just keep your diet as clean as possible. What I mean by clean is just try to eat real food as much as you can. And I suffer from this as well because I eat a lot of convenience foods. But even if I'm gonna eat a convenience food, I feel like it makes sense. Like, let's get a convenient salad. You know, Sam's Club has like a family pack of salad. It's got everything on it, including like the chicken and the eggs. So it's got protein, and it's something that is like a catch-all for us if we don't want to eat, we don't want to go out to eat. That meal is like $11 or $12, and that feeds us both. I think we both eat once, and then one of us gets the leftovers. Whoever gets to it first in our house is the one who gets the leftovers. But what I'm saying is make sure that you're making choices that you can live with. The quality of the food is going to matter a lot when it comes to how you feel and whether or not you get nauseous. Another mistake I see people make, I made this mistake. I did not take very many before photos, and I wish I did. I just was so like unhappy with the way that I looked that I didn't want to take pictures. But now I wish I could go back and compare how I looked, because I know that it is so different from how I look now. Even like swimsuit shopping this past year, 2025, was very different from 2024. And then 2023, I'm pretty sure I was crying in the fitting room. So you get the point that like your progress will happen over time, but document it, take measurements. I use an app called Happy Scale, and I've been using that for several years where I can see like my weight gradually going down. And so I would recommend getting as much data as possible so that you can see what's working, what's not working. If you have a month where you don't lose, I know that a lot of people's tendency is to say like, well, this isn't working, or I don't think that this is for me, or, you know, I'm doing something wrong. All of these like logical things that just don't make sense, but you're looking for a reason to why your body is not doing what you want it to do, but your body is doing what your body needs to do. They work without us thinking about it. That's kind of by design. So if you have a month where you don't do well, I think the thing to do is to go back, look at your habits. How much were you eating? What kind of things were you eating? Did you get activity? Were you depressed? Did you have your period? There's a lot of things that could cause things to go differently. Even the day that you weigh yourself, you know, I don't weigh myself every day. I weigh myself probably every 2 weeks at this point that I'm at like in the 140s. I was in the 180s. Like I was close to 200 pounds and I was 5 feet tall. So all of me was just a stacked little, like the Michelin Man. Like I was just like, you know, my face was very fat. If you go back and watch my old videos, my face was, I just looked bloated, tired. I actually look younger now at 30 than I probably looked at 25, which I hate. Oh, I hate that. But that's another thing. Don't sit there and think, oh, I should have done this or I should have done that. Like that kind of thinking really sends you down a rabbit hole of feeling bad about yourself. But the energy you need to have is forward momentum, taking care of yourself, being kind to yourself. I know it's cliche, but I mean, just do something for you that doesn't involve weight loss. Don't make weight loss the center of your life. Trust me on this. You will be so freaking miserable and you'll burn out, and it's just not a good way to live. I mean, I've seen people who, I mean, I've done it. So I know from experience, like when I was obsessed with weight loss, when I was constantly thinking about like calories in, calories out, okay, I wonder how much I'm going to burn on this walk. Like I couldn't even enjoy the things that I was doing because it was so focused on getting results. And so I don't want you to get into that trap. I want you to do well. Like I want things to go well for you, but if you take the medicine, it's gonna be fine. Like it will all work out. This medication will change your life if you let it, and if you're consistent, I think that it will work itself out. This is the least that I've had to try to lose weight, if that makes sense. Yes, I've had to try to get used to like living in a new body. I've had to try to come to terms with the fact that I wish I would have did this sooner, but I have not had to try to not eat all the time. And that was my life. Since probably first or second grade, I've been like obese. Then I was morbidly obese, and I think I'm still overweight, but like I feel so good lately. Like I just feel like when I look at my body, I'm like, is that me? You know, like when I'm taking a shower, I'm like, oh my God, like it looks good and I'm happy with it. And so just being able to celebrate those wins and not comparing yourself and your weight loss to others. Do not say, I want to lose X amount of pounds by X time, or do not say like, I have an event that I'm going to, I need to like look this way by then. Let me ask you, how is you being in that physical state, if you're 180 and you're 170 by then, how is that going to change the event? If it's a wedding, how is that going to change your experience of the event? Like, honestly. Like that's your ego talking. That's not good to think about it like that You need to think about it in terms of how can I just do a little bit at a time. If you've heard the term Kaizen, it is literally little micro improvements over time that make all the difference in people's lives. And so I would encourage you to kind of like sit with that. Don't think about, I need to be here by this time, because that will really, really like cloud your brain and make you feel bad. And guess what? When you have high stress levels, high cortisol levels, poor sleep, anxiety, depression, that does not help you lose weight. Ask me how I know. Another mistake I see people making is reading too much, consuming too much content about what other people are doing. Kind of ironic that you're watching this now, but what I'm saying is that you don't need to spend hours and hours of your week like reading and researching GLP-1s. It's fine if you're interested and it genuinely is kind of fun for you, but don't do it in the spirit of, I need to find out everything I can because I don't want to make a mistake. Just get the basic information down. Don't Google stuff like bad things that could happen or side effects. I promise you, GLP-1 meds have been under like trial by fire. Like it's not really true. A lot of the things that get posted, the headlines, the news, even the word Ozempic is like, it's been referenced in the media and pop culture so much that it started to kind of like take on its own like little meaning and culture. And so I would just encourage you to stay off of the internet as much as possible when it comes to researching this medication. I really like Dr. Tina. She talks a lot about the effects of semaglutide and how semaglutide has been around for a long time. It's not a new drug. And she also talks about microdosing, which I think is really a cool concept. Fridays actually just launched a microdosing program for people who have either already lost the weight or just have a little bit left to lose. And I'll talk about that in another video more in depth. But if you want to find out about that, again, you can just check the links in my bio. My link tree probably has a link to Fridays and you can check it out. Codebella works on the microdosing stuff as well. It's $50 off, but microdosing Ozempic is like, I don't even know, like it's microdosing semaglutide. It's not the brand name. I want to be clear on that. But basically Ozempic has semaglutide as the active ingredient. So this medical company basically is trying to keep everyone from getting it any other way. But we're fighting for access and affordable care, and I will continue to do that. Building healthy habits requires like some changes to be made in your psyche, in your daily activities. It's going to cause some friction. You're going to feel like you don't know what to do because the mental energy that you used to use on food is going to be free. And I feel like you might have some feelings come up that you didn't know were there, or you knew were there, but they've been suppressed. So it doesn't feel like a bad idea now that if you're going to start this medication, that you start therapy with it, that you find somebody that you can talk to. You basically set up a support system. If you feel comfortable sharing this with a friend, maybe just one person. I wouldn't tell everybody that I'm on a GLP-1. I mean, I did because I put it all on the internet, but that's not the case with you. So just, keep in mind that a support system is really important. Weight loss is a long-term thing. It is not a short-term thing. You may get excited when you see quick results, and I think that that's something to celebrate, but just don't make that your go-to dopamine hit. Like seeing the scale go down is a measure of progress. It's not the end-all be-all. You still have to factor in your physique, your muscle loss, that you're going to lose muscle when you lose weight. So you need to be doing some kind of probably like walking, weight training, swimming. We go to the YMCA and swim. Like find something, some way to move. Even if you have chronic pain like me, just do little things, don't overdo it, just do it. One of the last mistakes I'll talk about is not figuring out how to treat side effects and just kind of like suffering through it. Really don't recommend that strategy. I think some people have some concern that like if they tell their doctor that they're having this problem or that problem, that they'll get the medication taken away. I promise you, if it's something that's just normal, they will help you. Fridays will give you like options to get like different nausea medications. I know I've taken like, is it Finnegan or something? Finnegan? I don't know. My grandma calls it Finnegan. I don't think that's actually how it's pronounced, but it's basically anti-nausea medication. There's also the non-drowsy Dramamine. I have a whole video about Ozempic nausea, semaglutide nausea, and how to treat it. So if you're interested in that, just go to my playlist in this description. But I think that's enough for now. I think the main point that I want to take home is that you can make a lot of mistakes with weight loss and still lose the weight, but you might not keep it off. So, I mean, just kind of keep in mind, like, if you're thinking those short-term wins are going to be worth it, think about how you can build out like healthy habits, something that you can stick with, something that's realistic, Kaizen, like small improvements. You know what I'm saying? Like if you normally have like ranch with all of your food, maybe try to buy the light ranch. You know what I'm saying? Like don't just like freak out over every little thing. I'm drinking Diet Pepsi, like zero sugar, wild cherry. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Now, there will be somebody inevitably who says, there's got like aspartame in that, and there's added potassium and all this stuff, and just like, I don't know. I don't have that much room in my brain to worry about if a Diet Pepsi is going to affect me in some horrible way. Like, it's a good thing for me to snack on. I don't drink this crap all day. It's way too expensive. I can't even believe the prices of soda right now. Anyways, I will get off of here, but what I want to say is that you guys can do it. You are absolutely fully capable. Do not doubt yourself. You will lose the weight. You will feel better. Everything in the description if you want to start semaglutide. If you have questions about how to take your shot, your dosing, everything like that, I have tons of videos on my channel from like 2 or 3 years worth of content of me being on this medication. Again, link in the description to start everything. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I believe in you, and I hope that you have a great week, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.